Welcome to Eliot Hine Network 1 on YouTube.
DCPS Career and Technical Education.
I'm your host, Javion.
I'm your host, Edme.
I'm your host, Amaya.
And I'm your host, Tristan.
Did you know Eliot Hine Network has a new podcast in the state-of-the-art studio?
Lock us in on Apple,
iHeart,
Spotify,
Pandora,
Google,
Amazon Music.
Joining us as a guest on the show today is Mr. Paul Cobb.
Our show topic is pioneering analytical methodologies.
Mr. Cobb, thank you for joining us today.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Our first segment is Understanding Paul Cobb, President and CEO of Oaklea, Simpson Security and Intelligence Company.
Who or what inspired you to pursue a career in the intelligence industry?
Well, I first was inspired to join the military. Before the intelligence part of it, intelligence part of the career, I was motivated to join the military at a very young age. I remember seeing the movie The Green Berets with John Wayne in the late 60s, a long time before you were born. And John Wayne in that movie was a hero, and a lot of courage, physical courage and moral courage in the movie. And it just inspired me. I wanted to be a hero, and I wanted to join the military. So I joined the Marine Corps Reserves while I was in college. And then when I chose my career field in the reserves, I chose intelligence. My recruiter was an intelligence professional, and I chose that. It just intrigued me. It looked like it might be physically challenging, intellectually stimulating. We get to travel. So that's why I chose that many years ago.
If you could select one word to describe your work ethic, what would it be and why?
Work ethic. I would describe it as honorable. And honorable because work ethic applies to every part of your life. When I talked about hero, John Wayne being a hero in the movie, and he wanted to be a hero, what I've learned, and really with my work ethic too, is that you're a hero in everything you do in life. You can be a hero. Your parents are heroes. They get up every morning, they go to work, they work hard, very hard, sometimes under difficult, challenging circumstances. They come home, they feed you, they help you do your homework, they read to you before you go to bed, then they get up in the next morning, and they do it all over again. And they do that for 30, 40, 50, 60 years of their lives. That's what life is. Some people may get lucky and win the lottery and everything's great. But for most people, that's not how it is. Most parents, they're heroes for what they do. Your teachers are heroes for what you do. You students, you can be heroes. Number one, heroes to your friends, and that work ethic extends to what you're doing now in school. Your work ethic is very important. This is your job right now. Your work is school and maybe sports, theater, whatever you're involved with, but that's all very important. So I would just say, from a work ethic standpoint, do it honorably, live honorably, and that extends to your work ethic and everything you do in life, that ethic.
In your opinion, what educational tools should young adults embrace if they aspire to be in cybersecurity?
That's changed recently, I think. Before, most people in cybersecurity, a lot of them followed a traditional educational track. High school, on to college, and then a career after that. Nowadays, you can follow that track, certainly, but you also are expected in cybersecurity to get a lot of individual certifications. Many of those you can do online. Some in the classroom, but many online. So I would say it's a kind of a mix of traditional education, the certifications, and then also work experience.
We're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back. This broadcast is being brought to you by Eliot Hine Network 1 on YouTube
and the District Knowledge Network.
I'm your host, Jordan Surreal.
I'm your host, Nasim Smith.
I'm your host, Joelle Edwards.
And I'm your host, Brooklyn Brown.
Our show topic today is pioneering analytical methodologies.
Joining us as a guest on the show is Mr. Paul Cobb.
Our first segment was Understanding Paul Cobb, President and CEO of Oaklea, Simpson Security and Intelligence Company.
Our second segment is Advanced Analytics.
What is activity-based analytics?
Activity-based analytics, think of it like a detective. Or a detective, when they're investigating a crime, they're going to try to understand everything about the person involved. They want to know where they slept, where they ate, where they had coffee, where they walked to, drove to. They want to understand everything about that person's life. Activity-based analytics is very similar. You're trying to comprehensively understand everything you can about the activity associated with a person, place, or thing. So it's basically trying to learn everything you can using all types of information to get a better picture of that person, place, or thing.
Oaklea Simpson Security helped to establish the Navy's premier intelligence analysis team, Office of Naval Intelligence. In your opinion, what type of educational background do you need in order to establish this goal?
That's a good mix of backgrounds. When we established, we helped the military and the civilian leadership at Office of Naval Intelligence establish advanced analytics. Our company brought in a team of experts, and their backgrounds really were military backgrounds. Most of them had military backgrounds in intelligence, so a lot of experience. Many of them had college degrees, and then some other certifications as well. But it's kind of a mix of experience and military background.
What is advanced analytics and how does it relate to your intelligence community?
Advanced analytics, I would characterize that different than just normal day-to-day analytics from the standpoint that you're using leading-edge technologies, new data sets, new analytical applications. You're using any source of information you can to develop that comprehensive understanding of that person, place, or thing. So it's advanced above and beyond what normal analytics does every day. You're basically pushing yourself, challenging yourself to develop more capabilities to do a better job of analytics.
Talk to us about your Fuse 22,000 curriculum and its benefits to your constituents.
That is a course, Fuse 2200 is a course that our company developed for the intelligence community that teaches other analysts those advanced analytical methodologies, how to conduct that type of intelligence, that advanced analytic intelligence, using the latest and greatest technologies, new sensors, new data sets, all that information, and then how to fuse it together to be able to track people, objects, and understand the movements of those person, places, or things.
We are going to take a quick break and we will be right back.
This podcast is being brought to you by Eliot Hine Network 1 on YouTube.
And the District Knowledge Network.
I'm your host, Dante Dyson.
I'm your host, Zoe Miller.
I'm your host, Torrance Willer.
I'm your host, Xavier DaCosta.
Our show topic today is pioneering analytic methodologies.
Joining us as a guest on this show is Mr. Paul Cobb.
Our first segment was Understanding Paul Cobb, President and CEO of Oaklea Simpson Security, an intelligence company.
Our second segment was Advanced Analytics.
Our third segment is Network Engineering through OSS.
What is network engineering and why is it useful to the U.S. Armed Forces?
Network engineering, really think of it as designing, building, maintaining, securing computer networks. And it's useful to give you a working, everyday example of network engineering. Think of your car, or your car that you ride in. There's lots of different sensors, lots of different onboard computers. It's helping those components talk to each other. And then it's helping your car also, it displays that information to you as the driver and maybe the passenger. But it's also communicating oftentimes to the car dealership where you brought your car, the service center there. And oftentimes it's communicating back to the manufacturer. So all those things are computers talking to computers. So computer network engineering or network engineering is just helping computers talk to each other. It's useful to the armed forces. It's a very sophisticated world, and there's times in a military application you might have a ship talking to an aircraft and telling the aircraft to shoot a missile at another target, and that target is coming from a completely different source of information. So all those computers, much of that is automated. Sometimes there's people that are manning those systems, but there's also automation that those computers talk to other computers to make it much more efficient and much more timely. Because if you're shooting down a missile or a drone, those things are traveling very quickly. You need to respond very fast, so you need that automation.
What initial steps do you take in order to meet the needs of your clients?
The needs of the clients. It's really just taking care of anything that a client might need. It's exceeding their expectations. So whatever they need, we have contracts with the U.S. government, and we'll do whatever is needed to support their requirements. And we take great pride in never saying no. We'll figure a way out to get it done. No matter how difficult or challenging it is, we'll find a way to get it done.
Okay.
How has network engineering changed over the last 10 years?
It really has changed, and it continues to change. It's just really sophistication down to the individual microchips and the sophistication of those chips and what they can do and the speed at which they operate. So that as that technology advances very rapidly, the network engineering designing systems to talk with all the components inside and also system to system, that makes it more challenging for network engineers to understand that technology advancement and how to apply that to the systems that they're supporting.
Do you have any final thoughts for the students at Eliot Hine?
Yes. I would say live with honor at everything you do and be bold. So just like you're participating in this program, you took a chance. You're sitting here doing something you never thought you'd do, but you're doing it, and you're doing it really well. So I would just say live with honor, take great care of your friends, take great care of your family. I would also say don't do drugs. I'm a guy who I was born in 1962. I've never done drugs in my life, ever. It can be done. There's some that'll tell you, oh, everybody does it. That is not true. Stay away from it. Pick your friends very well. Stay with those good friends and take great care of them. Take great care of your family. Take great care of your parents, your grandparents. That's it. Just be great students. Live your life with honor. That's it.
Yeah.
Mr. Cobb, thank you for being a guest on our show.
It was a pleasure. Thanks for inviting me here today.
This broadcast is being brought to you by Eliot Hine Network Parents on YouTube
And the District Knowledge Network.
I'm your host, Dante Dyson.
I'm your host, Zoe Miller.
I'm your host, Torrance Willow.
And I'm your host, Xavier DaCosta.
Have a great day.
First, I was very impressed. I know that students, they've only been doing this class for, I guess, a couple of weeks, maybe not even a month, I'm not too sure, but I was impressed by how seriously they were taking it. I was impressed by the teamwork, the quality of the questions, and how attentive they were to the entire process. So I'm just very thankful that they have this opportunity to be part of this type of class and to learn more about this area.
I must say I'm thankful as well, and I thank our guests for coming today and giving the kids an opportunity to be able to learn something different. And it seemed like all the kids, they were so excited about looking to do this interview and learning about the world in AI, cybersecurity. I think this was a great opportunity for the kids, and I'm thankful as well.
I also was impressed that they have this opportunity to work in like a state-of-the-art studio, and they're able to work with their classmates and I guess have that confidence to speak in front of a camera, because a lot of kids don't like doing that. And just, actually enjoying what they're doing and just watching the kids behind the scenes in the engineering part. It's just so good to see.
Okay. And how do you feel about the teacher, Mr. Burks?
You are awesome. For keeping this together
Yes.
and putting this together. You are awesome.
Like I said, as a fellow educator, I admire the classroom management, making sure everyone was together on both sides. There's walls in between. And just also really appreciative of being invited to come here to see this at work.
Yes, to
it really puts
see
things
this
into perspective.
in person, like before, you see the videos on YouTube, but actually seeing it in action, seeing the kids work behind the scenes and in front of the camera, it was really a good opportunity for us.